Hi, Rick Travis with the California Rifle Pistol Association here at the International Sportsman's Expo. This is Devin. He's with Backcountry Hunters Anglers, a partner with us in the fight for your rights. Devin, great to see you.
Great to finally do this in person.
Yeah. So Devin, obviously California is a fun state to work in on hunters' rights and fishing rights, and every year it's something different. But this year, ironically, your symbol shows a barefoot, and we're talking about bears this year.
It seems like every year we're talking about bears, if not this year, last year with SB 252, but it's a different angle this year, and definitely something that we're working on and focusing on bears and making sure that we can continue to hunt them.
So one of the things I think a lot of people don't understand is bears. Like, are there only 9,000 bears? Because that's been in the media. There's other numbers are like 4 to 5 times that size. What do you think the number of bears are in California?
I mean, I'm not a biologist, but we did an event with a couple biologists from the Department of Fish and Wildlife last year, and we just did a virtual sort of meet and greet, pint night, and the numbers that they presented were conservative estimates of 30 to 40,000.
Right.
And a lot of that data is extrapolated from hunter harvests and the ratio of males and females in the harvests, and that can be indicative of what's happening in the long-term population trends.
Right.
So everything that we understand, that population has been steadily increasing for the last 25 years. It's gone up and up and up.
It kind of took a spike when they pulled dogs out of the mix for hunting.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, we haven't hit the quota, my understanding, and since that happened, and so that the department manages them. I think it's 1,700 bears. That's the number that they're targeting, and we haven't hit that since dogs were removed. So you can only imagine that the bear population has increased.
So let's break that down, because I think a lot of people hear these numbers, and I remember about 2 years ago being at a meeting in San Gabriel, and this lady was really upset with hunting, and she said, well, you guys kill like 15,000 deer every year, and I'm like, no, we don't. And she goes, well, there's like 15,000 tags, and I think the general public thinks a tag equals a dead animal. So when you're saying quota, you're talking about these 1,700 bear tags.
There's more than that number of tags, exactly, right? So there's, I think, 30,000 plus hunters that purchased a bear tag,
right?
And
which costs money.
That goes to the department, and there was only just this year, I think there's about just over 1,000 that were harvested, so well under that quota,
right?
Which is the sustainable limit to manage that population healthily and effectively, and that's. Hunting is a means to prevent overpopulation, right? And when you have overpopulation, you have disease and potential collapse and lack of resources for the bears, so they're can starve to death and things like that.
And let's talk about that with the bears. I mean, they're a predator, obviously an apex predator, but when you have too many of the bears, they don't stay as omnivores. They start to become more carnivore in their behavior, and we lose other species because they predate on those at a higher level. So it's not just when we manage the bear population, we're also managing ecosystems by trying to keep those ecosystems balanced as well.
Yeah, and again, I don't have the background in biology, but I do know that, especially when you look at these things in like regional zones, I think that's probably very true in specific regions where, you have like dramatically increased predation on fawns for bears because, like you said, there's a lack of other resources. And so I know that those numbers skew, and I think that plays into a lot of the conversations where folks will say, oh, well, bears only take 10% of fawns, or bears take 80% of fawns. And both those data sets might be true in different zones.
Right.
But I think the average is that there is increased predation on fawns when there's a lack of resources, and that really inhibits the deer population. And so, like you said, it's all interconnected, and you can't manage one species and then not manage another one. That just creates an imbalance, and then you end up having a collapse in your other populations, your ungulates and deer that obviously we've seen for the last 40 years. They have.
And let's talk about public lands, because that's one of the reasons I'm personally a member of Backcountry Hunters and Anglers. They're fighting for your public lands access rights.
Absolutely. I mean, you kind of alluded to there. It's keep public lands in public hands, right? And that's really a big part of what I think draws a lot of people to BHA, is that that mission to advocate for wild public lands, waters, and wildlife, and to ensure that we all have access to the lands. And we're all public land owners. You know, there's millions of acres, and there's millions of people, but we all own a percentage of that. And it's kind of our duty to be good stewards of it, to work to support the habitat, clean water, to ensure that there's abundant wildlife populations. So, you know, we work on the legislative side to ensure that there's access and opportunity to hunt on public lands and quality habitat. But then we also do, you know, on the ground stewardship projects, public land packouts, restorations, riparian, you know, restoration work. So everything that we can do to support the wildlife, support access, and especially to make sure that, you know, we can sustain this tradition of hunting and fishing on our public lands. It's hugely important.
I think that's critical, because in this series of videos, you're hearing me talk to different groups. And once again, this is another group doing the conservation work that is so important to keep sustainable wildlife for future generations, not just this one. And BHA is a leader in that. So how does one join? Because we always get to, okay, I'm all on board. How do I get on board?
Yeah, so we're a membership-driven organization. We have chapters in 48 states and all across North America, 48 states, 2 Canadian provinces of 1 territory. But in the California chapter, which is what I represent, membership is $35. That gets you a subscription to our Backcountry Journal, which is just a really, really fantastic publication that comes quarterly. And you can hear all about the work, the habitat projects. There's an article in here about a bighorn sheep helicopter water haul we did with the United States Marine Corps to support bighorn sheep during the drought this year, and all sorts of really cool information. So you can go online to backcountryhunters.org and hit join. And like I said, it's $35 for a year for an individual membership. We have a military membership that's $15, and we have a family membership. We also do lifetime memberships where you can get, you know, amazing products from our corporate partners. I actually bought one at the beginning of the year, got a Weatherby, been taking it out and getting into the duck blinds and going after dove and quail. So I've been having a great time with it. And
good. So everyone, once again, Rick Travis, California Rifle Pistol Association at the International Sportsman's Expo. Devin's a partner. He's in there all the time. We're in meetings, fighting for your rights. Join them, get involved, take action now.